main reason I switched to AdvanTech was because of the water conditions. In the fall we have a lot of rain, and in the winter, you know, we have a lot of snow.
We had our rains and got it wet, and I mean the water just stood on the floor. Ice and snow, you just shovel it off, it's gone.
I was just having a lot of problems with delamination, cupping, and those things. After trying it, I was just thoroughly convinced. I mean, we've had it in areas where it's had, you know, a foot of snow on it, and it's been that way for a week, week and a half. We go in there and once the weather clears up a little bit and sweep it off, and never have had any problems.
It's just a wonderful product.
AdvanTech isn't a typical OSB board. It just seems like we eliminated a lot of problems with AdvanTech.
Well, you have less calls with AdvanTech, a lot less calls.
I didn't use OSB board. I was a plywood person. I mean, in typical rains, we would end up with a lot of replacements. And that takes a lot of effort to do it. You got to pull the old piece up, cut around it, get the nails out of the joist. You probably built a wall over part of it, so it's not easy to replace it. And again, the guys appreciate not having to go back and do that.
I used it in my own house that I'm building currently, and I had several rains on it, and the floor is as good as when we first put it down. It does go together better and fits together better. You don't seem to have to bang it together like you do with the plywood.
You know, it's all sealed. It doesn't swell up, because I think that's became part of the problem. Those edges would swell, and then you couldn't get the tongue into the groove because it was swelled, and then you're ripping the groove off and, you know, trying to get the thing together and smashing it with a hammer.
You didn't have to beat it together with a sledgehammer on the floor system. The AdvanTech slipped right together. They don't even have a sledgehammer on the job anymore.
And when it does get wet, it doesn't swell up like the normal OSB boards.
The end joints didn't swell.
I think it lays a lot faster. It does everything they told us it would do.
From the carpenter's standpoint, this is probably saving him 20% of the time to put a floor system down.
Anytime you can save a step or save a product, it just saves you a lot of money.
My problems with the other products, I was using a plywood and an OSB together, and those were, you know, delaminating, cupping, swelling. The bubbles would show up, and, you know, you'd have to, it would peel off, and then you'd have to fill that, you know, prior to putting your finished floors down. I mean, I used to screw the floors down, glue them, nail them, trying to keep the squeaks and stuff at bay, and I just don't have that problem.
The sturdiness of it, it gives you more solid floor.
It feels solid. I just end up with a really strong floor. You know, I have a certain tolerance. I want less than 1/2 of an inch of deflection in what I'm spanning throughout the house.
After your customer moves in a house, you don't have the china closet rattling.
It ends up being a very flat floor system. It doesn't deflect. It's absolutely flat.
You don't have the deflection in the roof sheathing as you do with plywood, especially when you're using trusses 2 foot on the center. You always have that sag in the middle. Now the roofs are nice and straight.
You're not going to get any drooping between either floor joists or roof rafters with this material.
Even now, my framers don't even want to go back to regular plywood. We've been using it for wall sheathing and the roof sheathing. When you use the AdvanTech, it's a stiffer board, much firmer. You don't have the voids in there. And again, on the 2 foot centers, You don't need to use ply clips.
We liked it so well on the floor system that we turned around and bought it for the rest of the house rather than go back to OSB or plywood for it, because it just performs so well.
They're at the point where they accepted it and they want it.
It makes a stronger structural wall. We wrap the whole house in AdvanTech.
The product right away did everything that they said it would do. You know, I'm just not finding, you know, I'm walking through these houses, you know, in the finish, and we're just not finding the callbacks and the squeaks.
I felt like that if Southern Living was willing to try it, that it had to be a pretty good product. In the areas that we use the AdvanTech, it eliminates callbacks. I would use AdvanTech even if it costs more than plywood. It is that much superior a material.